finish this. It'll be fine. Scooch over. Let me go. Okay, so here. Anyways. And then, and you wouldn't believe what Wilma had to say.
What the heck? Don't push me with your elbow. You get it right in there.
It's a skeleton. What do you have inside you?
Oh,
I don't want to know.
Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, Episode 11, and I'm here with my fabulous illegitimate drag daughter, Wilhelmina Boxfart. How are you, Wilhelmina?
I've been better.
I know. You certainly have looked better. But it's not for us to judge. It's just for us to enjoy. But before we get to it, I need to thank this week's Tipper-Doos. Joanne Robertson, DJ Tenson, Paisley Polar Bear, Not a Nightlight, Daniel Simmons Flourish, and Chrissy Chris, all of whom used the YouTube thanks button just below this screen. Thank you, dolls. You're so generous. I also need to thank Musing Mark, who left a very lovely Tipper-Doo in honor of his dearly departed twin, Matt, who he lost recently. And Matt, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm so honored that Matt enjoyed watching the review. Thank you so much for letting me know. He said there was a quote. Every time Matt said something and nobody listened to him and then they were proven wrong, he'd say, "No one asked me. It's not the Wilma Fingerdoo show." And I just think that's lovely. So thank you for sharing that, Mark. Now,
this episode did not start off on a very positive note.
No, there were a lot of things about this episode that bothered me, but the worst of it was, as the queens were saying bye to Ariete, well, her lipstick message was very personal and very bitchy, but it was directed at Anya. I thought for sure she's going to rip anyone a new one.
Be Jules.
Yes, but no.
It took a pot shot at Anya's bad breath, and that was her mirror message, and the queens were very generous. They're like, well, maybe it was a joke, but if it was a joke, she's already shown that she's terrible at comedy. So yeah. I'm not surprised it went over like a lead balloon.
But how much of a joke is it when somebody takes you aside and confides in you about something they're very sensitive to, like Anya did about her breath? And then for Ariete, it was just so pointed and so direct and so specific.
So unnecessary. Yeah. It was a completely unnecessary comment. It made no sense in the context of anything other than Ariete was real mad that she got booted off.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it did do. It made me a lot happier to see Ariete go.
Oh, yeah. If there was any tears, it instantly evaporated from my face.
Yeah, with the heat steaming off my cheeks from my ire.
Not sad at all. Maybe you could have stolen a nicer mirror message.
Yeah, clearly Ariete doesn't want a career after Drag Race. So well done and good for you. You know who clearly does want a career after Drag Race? Lydia B. Collins, who everyone congratulated for her fabulous win at the Haters Roast. I mean, no one saw that coming.
Well, almost everyone congratulated her. Sam had to do the pageant girl thing and kind of make it about her and how she didn't get her third win, and then said something about touchdowns and foul balls and mixed up her sports metaphors like a good little homosexual.
Yeah, because wearing that outfit down the runway is as close to playing any sport as Sam has ever gotten. So bless her heart.
Although I hear she's a tight end.
Well, she tells you that. I'd like to hear it from the opposing team.
You won't. There's an echo. And then it was next day in the workroom, and Anya had already moved on from the rude mirror message.
Ariete who?
Yeah. So we shall all move on as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Susie Toot killed some time by asking if any of the queens had any weird dreams.
Yeah, because I'm sure that was a thought burning in her mind before production got up.
She's like, I really need this information before we go any further. Lexi confessed that she has nightmares about Susie Toot.
I'm not surprised.
Her nemesis.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh.
Yeah, if anyone's living rent-free anywhere, it's Susie Toot's in Lexi Love's mind. Bless her heart. But that didn't last long, because then they all realized that Lydia B. Collins was wearing Corey King's hoodie.
Better than wearing her ugly dancing shoes.
Yeah, and so she got some oohs from the rest of the cast, and thankfully, that's when Ru showed up.
Oh, thank God.
Gave them all something to complain about. Because it was the Maxi challenge.
Maxi challenge, no mini challenge again.
No, boo. And especially with this episode, there didn't seem to be a lot of stuff going on. I feel like they filled this episode. They could have slipped a mini in there.
Just slip a
little mini. It's just a mini. You won't even notice it. But the Maxi challenge this week, an acting challenge. The queens were going to have to act with Ross Matthews in a spoof of Capote versus the Swans, which was the second season of Feud, which I watched. You didn't watch it.
No, I didn't watch either season.
No. The
Too
first
gay
one,
for me.
Betty Davis versus Joan Crawford was. I just actually watched it again the other day. I really, really loved it. I thought it was well styled, well acted, lovely. Truman Capote and the Swans I enjoyed because of the period they were recreating. So from an artistic sense, it was great. It was also, Demi Moore was in that. And she was only in a small...
Truman Capote.
No, as one of the Swans. And she was great in that. Her character wasn't as big as some of the others. Also, Molly Ringwald was in it.
Oh, I love Molly Ringwald.
Yeah. So it's worth watching because there's some great performances. But that wasn't what was happening here on Drag Race. It was Ross Matthews versus the Ducks. And so Rue let the queens know that it was up to them to cast it, which always goes.
It always goes so well. I mean, no one was in charge of casting. So, oof.
Yeah. And in this case, they didn't have somebody cast it.
Yeah.
From like, oh, well, you won, or if they had had a mini challenge, that person could have, and all of this would have been solved, but no.
No one was in charge.
As the queens were reading the script and seeing what was what, I realized that this was, all of the ducks were based on reality star women, either a Desperate Housewife or whomever. And I just don't know any of these people because I don't watch any of these shows because I find it a little repugnant. But I also know that I don't need to know these people specifically. If this is a well-written sketch, I will get what's going on.
Yeah, it's just archetypes.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing real about reality TV. So everyone is just playing a fictional.
There's no metaphors.
Yeah.
No double entendres. No.
It's very in your face. Yeah. It's like, let's get drunk and have a fight and flip a table, throw some drinks.
All that.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Oh, can I have a drink? Jorge, drink me.
Where are you, Jorge? Where's he been?
Where has he been?
And thank you all for asking, where's
smell?
Jorge and what's going on? Don't open the closet.
Who was that crying
Don't
for
open
help?
No.
What is that?
No. Sam was one of the first queens to speak up. She wanted Chandra, whoever that is. And nobody fought her on it, so they said, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Lydia very much resonated with the proctologist
I'm shocked.
character because she's very much that girl. So, no one seemed to fight her for that.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't go for Lisa Rimmer because that's still in her butthole wheelhouse. But Lexi loved it, so she took it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Lana, in a very bold move, she picked Drippy Q, one of the rapper ladies, and she only wanted to do it if Anya would play opposite her as Big Fupa.
Who wouldn't want to play Big Fupa?
I mean,
that just screams award season.
It's better than having a Big Fupa.
But this script literally cast itself until we got to, well, Susie and Jules. And once again, they butted heads wanting the same role. They wanted the role of Chicago. Susie wanted it because it was a huge monologue. It was also the last scene in the whole sketch. So she thought, I'm a monologue artist. I'm good at them. I will close the show with aplomb. That's what you said about your Snatch game. So I'm just going to say.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. Her big argument was, I'm going to be really good at this, which fell on deaf ears. The queens were like, no, we're not. Why would we let you have something that you're going to be good at? Yeah. Well, it's going to make the whole thing better. It's like, no, girl, no.
So yeah, at the end of the day, the queens deemed Jules worthy of the part of Chicago, which left the part of Felicity to Susie.
Which meant that Susie and Lexi were going to work together. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. While they were reading, Susie asked Lexi how she felt about working with her. And, well, Lexi said, I'm okay working with you. I just don't like when you're on the other team and I have to work against you. And I'm like, lies. Liza Minnelli.
And also, you're still on opposing teams because you're still both trying to win.
Yeah.
So you're not...
Yeah.
Oh, Lexi.
Yeah. Poor Lexi.
Oh, that other penny's going to drop at some point and she's just going to have another breakdown.
It's not pennies. I think she has whole rolls of quarters and then she just throws them. It's not good.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to Anya and Lana working together because they were having so much fun rehearsing.
Oh, yeah. And I understand why Lana was like, I want to work with you because you're really good. Yeah. Because that can really raise your game.
Yeah.
But it can also just highlight how not as good as Anya you are. So I thought there was thought that was a very bold choice.
Yeah, she has to step it up or she's in trouble.
I quite enjoyed Lydia and Sam's dynamic as well because they very openly hate each other's drag.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't like your aesthetic. It confuses Sam to no end.
Sam's more put out by it than Lydia. Lydia's not
like,
losing any sleep over this, but yeah.
Sam's like, you don't like my stuff? I don't understand. But they
What do you mean you don't
love? You don't love?
And then it was time to film Ross Matthews versus the Ducks. Unfortunately, Ross Matthews played himself.
I thought it was a bold choice not to do a character. Very bold choice.
Yeah. I thought he would try and do Truman Capote, but no, not at all.
No.
Well, I'm going to say he was playing a character because he wasn't wearing one of his sparkly blouses.
He did not have a blouse.
No, it was all natural fibers, or so I'm led to believe.
He was playing the character of someone on his way to buy a Ross Matthews blouse.
That's right.
That's what he was doing.
That's it. So nobody.
Yeah. You know who wasn't wearing a Ross Matthews blouse?
Everyone else.
Guest director.
Ooh, your best friend.
Cheyenne Jackson.
Yes, he went on a cruise with Cheyenne.
Yeah. He didn't know that we were on a cruise.
No. But you were both there, and you ignored him twice.
I ignored him multiple times on the stairs. Yeah. And he put on a lovely show. Yeah. And let us all know that he's had 4 hair transplants.
I think that's money well spent because Cheyenne looks great.
She looks great. Yeah.
Tired, but great.
Sam wasn't looking at Cheyenne's tired face.
No, looking at his big thighs.
Big thighs. Big meaty thighs.
Yeah. That wasn't creepy or weird on any level.
No, not at all. Lana and Anya were up first.
Well, Lana first on her own, yes.
And Lana did a good job. She responded. She took the notes very well. She took direction very nicely.
She was a little subdued, but they got her to amp it up a bit. Yeah.
She looked like she was doing a great job until Anya came in and just kind of steamrolled her.
Well, her entrance,
in a malicious way.
Even Cheyenne said it was an entrance for the ages. It was well done. And I will say this, as funny as Anya was and as much of the show as she stole, I felt like Lana stepped it up a bit. She actually got a little louder. Still not where she needed to be.
Yeah.
But she was making a concerted effort to keep up with Anya. And Anya certainly gave her every opportunity. Like, she wasn't sabotaging her. So I felt their scene went well together. Yeah,
it seemed to go very well. And they had a fun little fight scene at the end. Yeah. And Lana's boobs tried to make a run for it.
So funny. Little Sam Star did a good job off the top. And, I think she hit all the notes she needed to. And
Sam
didn't
Star
disappoint.
She had a great little entrance. I didn't feel like this character was much of a stretch.
No.
For her, because she was just playing a good Southern lady.
Yeah, she didn't impress me with this role, but she certainly didn't ruin anything with it either.
She's way better than she did in RDR Live.
Oh my God.
As did Lydia.
So much better.
But it still wasn't good enough. She was outshone by Sam, at least in the scenes that we saw.
I feel this has been the curse of season 17, is we have these queens who are talented, great references, do a good face, good wig, good dress, but they're just too subtle. They're just too quiet. And they think they've amped it up, but they really need to bring it up even higher. And it's disappointing that they're having this trouble.
Susie Toot had the next entrance. And
mostly her forehead.
Yeah, her harsh wig line. And her
not just the wig
very
line,
white
all
face.
of it. All of it. I couldn't tell if she'd used too much highlighter in the middle of her forehead or too much contour, or if she'd gotten the lace dark with her contour and that's why it stuck out, or she was trying to match her contour with the lace. I don't know. But it just was an odd face on Susie. It's like she was doing her signature Susie Toots makeup with a modern wig. And
it was very strange. I was like,
something was going on.
I just assumed they were deliberate choices and maybe it was too cerebral for me to understand.
Yeah.
Cheyenne seemed to think that she was doing a good job. Made a comment about, we got an actress here, which of course caused Lexi to go into a tailspin.
Well, it caused me to go into a tailspin too, because all I could think of is, now we'll never hear the end of it from Susie. But poor Lexi, bless her heart. Because she didn't do a bad job until they got to the AMSR. Is that how you say that?
ASMR.
ASMR segment where they were holding mics and whispering, which I didn't get in the filming because they just all of a sudden were doing that. But Lexi, Susie had no trouble with her lines, but Lexi, every line, she had to do it again. And she, by what we were seeing, seemed to be the only queen to need to do things that often. So
I wasn't sure if this was shady editing or just Lexi getting in her head. So I was a bit worried that she was going to get steamrolled by Susie, but I was willing to let's wait for the edit. Let's wait for the final cut.
One thing that was proven with their stage fight is Lexi is way better with physical comedy than lines. She had no trouble knocking Susie around for the better part of 15 minutes. So good for her. A little redemption there in the dust.
Yeah, I think you really enjoyed that. She's like, can we just try the fight again? Can we just do the fight? Can we get a close-up of me choking Susie too?
One of the more unfortunate moments during the filming was poor Jules Sparkles. Now, the bad thing was she had to sit there for 4 hours before she did her scene, but the good thing was she sat next to Cheyenne Jackson for most of it, so what the hell was her problem?
Not so bad. She had the Chicago monologue. It was based on Tiffany New York Pollard, who got famous from being on, she was on Flavor of Love, and Flavor Flav gave her the nickname New York, and that led to her spin-off series, I Love New York, and then eventually that led her to be on Celebrity Big Brother season 17 or whatever, where she delivered
the celebrity one,
infamous Gemma is a fat cunt monologue. It was important to her as a teen, so it was something that she quoted all the time, and that really got in her way because she kept doing the wrong
she was doing the real monologue and not the one written.
Which I love that this is where we are with our society. It's like, for my audition today, I could be doing something from
Celebrity Big Brother.
And then I will be doing something from Romeo and Juliet. But before we start, Gemma is a fat cunt. Well, and then when I watched the real monologue, the original, afterwards, I was like, oh, it's not this. Because in my mind, I pictured it as screaming at a restaurant, throwing Chardonnay at someone's
you'd think she'd be more animated, but no, she wasn't.
But it was just a little confessional thing, and it wasn't that animated. So I was like, okay, well, maybe
also, she was trying to take the high road by being calm. I'm not going to show that I'm hating on someone. I'm just going to say these things. And I guess she tried to keep it classy.
I think calling someone
starting off with "you're a fat C word," that's going to keep you from being
That indicates you're feeling some kind of way. I think.
Yeah.
You fat.
Sloppy. Vaginal orifice.
Oh. You mewling Quinn.
And then it was elimination day, and everyone was feeling really good about the performances, even though some of them shouldn't have.
Yeah, Lexi decided that in retrospect she'd done an amazing job.
Yeah, like she normally does. Yeah. She thought for sure it was her week again.
Yeah, it's the week.
Bless her heart. One day she'll be right. One day, but not today. No.
Today's not that day.
No.
There wasn't a lot of getting ready chit-chat, although Lana did just let us know that she was a freestyle rap champion in elementary school. Yeah, which was a long time ago.
So where's the competition in elementary school?
Well, when she was put on the spot, she failed. And I was like,
she tried to give us a taste and couldn't.
Yeah, 3rd grade was a long time
ago. And then Anya tried to give us a taste, and she really couldn't.
And she did. And then Sam Starr.
Little Sam Starr.
Did some very basic
the
white girl
queen
raps,
in that room.
But she had rhyme after rhyme. Were they good? No, but they were all
No, but they were better than what happened before she did it.
Good for you, little Sam
Starr. And a lot longer. She went on and on. Not on and on, but on and on enough to show the other two they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And so good for Sam Starr. Who knew?
I didn't know. I did not know. No. I would not have put money on that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm okay to not know as well, but
I'm fine.
Now that I know, it's like, well, I can still move on.
I mean, I never need to hear her rap again.
No.
It wasn't very
I'm not buying the album.
No. I'm not even buying the single.
Not watching the video.
No. Do they still make videos? Is that a thing the kids want?
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with things.
No, you don't.
You know what was a surprise as the queens were getting ready is that little Sam Starr and Lydia B. Collins were still building on a friendship all of a sudden.
Yeah, they continued to bond. They had a good time. Sam, of course, was surprised because I think Sam just
she was prepared
to
just not like Lydia because she didn't like her drag.
I think that Sam is having trouble adjusting to this whole not a pageant. So you don't have to hate these queens.
Not everyone's your enemy.
It's like, you can actually like these queens. So it was they had a little fun chat about talking about their drag influences, and Lydia, to no one's surprise, John Waters.
Oh, yeah.
And Sam Starr, to no one's surprise, glamorous rich ladies.
Yeah.
And they kind of celebrated that they'd grown up to be able to, really live in their influences. So they had a little moment. It was lovely.
It was lovely. Yeah. And then, right away, without even a how's your mama and don't forget your hat, it was off to the main stage. Drew looked amazing in orange.
Guest judge Sam Smith was serving up some Yukon Cornelius.
They were a big, sexy, bearded yum-yum.
I just really couldn't get Yukon Cornelius out of my head. I couldn't.
No. That's it. Wahoo! Category is black and white ball. Ball or balls? I don't remember.
First down the runway, little Sam Star showing us how to do clown as drag.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
First of all, that dress was stunning,
Gorgeous,
regardless of what
gorgeous.
makeup she put with it. But the mask, I think it was very smart that she didn't actually wear the mask, like just held it.
Yeah.
Her makeup was fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful Jester Harlequin
Yeah.
kind of look
Signature
going on.
wig on her head. It
Yeah,
was a
she was
great
beautiful.
look for Sam Star. So I, of course, gave her a Fingerdoo. Well done. Lana Gervais was next, and I thought she looked good, but a little simple for the runway.
Well, she made a big deal out of the fact that she's like, oh, I'm all covered up, which is unusual for me. Like, but if you're wearing skin-tight leggings and your skirt only goes to your navel, how covered up are you?
You're not covered at all. Bless her heart.
God bless.
I still gave her a Fingerdoo because she looked great, but it could have been, there could have been more thought.
Next down the runway, Anya Nerve, serving up some toned-down Bjork in a beautiful, just black sparkly gown with this weird gray ruffle that sort of morphed into a black swan hat. It was dumb. It was beautiful. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally gave her a Fingerdoo. And the thing I loved about this look is that she could wear it without the hat and it would still be a good look. She could also wear it without all of that accoutrement down the front and it would still be a good look. So, yeah, I was very impressed. Well done, Anya. Next down the runway was Lydia B. Collins serving up some Mars Attacks shimmy hobble skirt realness. I like this look of her. This is one of the best looks she's had on the runway so far. I wish she had regular sleeves and no mitts on the end of them, but it's still her aesthetic, and it doesn't surprise me anymore.
I loved how dumb. I just loved how dumb the sleeves were.
Yeah.
I loved how dumb her walk was.
Yeah.
Because a lot of queens, when they're hobbling, they just really take their time. But that shimmy she did was hilarious, and we could see her face.
Yeah.
There was no hat. There was no face key.
No, she had nothing there. It was just a
yeah.
nice wig and a clean face. Well done. So I gave her a Fingerdoo for sure.
And then it was time for Susie to wander down the runway. She was doing an ode to Arietti, I think, with her face. I don't know what was going on there. Yeah. Just like black and white cats, fringy
I have seen artwork that I'm sure influenced Susie's design of this look. And I will say she captured it perfectly, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah, I wanted to like it more than I did. Like I like the shimmy of it all, but I was like, well, why does that?
Yeah, but there was still no shape. Why can't you have a shape in there? Yeah. And then the hood just kind of stopped at her chin, and there was just I would have done more to it for drag, but for a historical reference, excellent. I still gave her a finger don't because she could have done more. I'm just saying.
You know what? It was too cerebral.
Too cerebral. Too smart.
You didn't get it.
I'm not smart enough for her drag.
You're not smart enough to understand that drag. Yeah. Speaking of not smart enough, next down the runway, Lexi Love, looking gorgeous.
She looked gorgeous.
And it's familiar. She was, she was throwing a train behind her, which we love. Yeah. She had a very, very short.
At least she had jeweled panties on.
This is how you do it? I had something to look at. Because normally I steer away from a lady's crotch.
Yeah.
But she drew me in by putting a point of interest on her point of interest.
Yeah. I was immediately interested.
Weren't you?
I also love this. I wish the dress had been longer because the ombre on it from black to white was beautiful, but it would have been nice to have seen that blend more, like have more of a blend area, but it was too short for that. It almost went right from black to white, but still. And again, the huge train behind her of fabric billowing, and
it's always a slightly different train.
Yeah,
it's never. We're not getting the same train every time,
but it's the same.
It's all slightly different
feeling.
But she likes having someone like the feeling of something following her down the runway.
Yeah.
Oh, who's that? Oh God.
Yeah. And it helps her keep from thinking someone's sneaking up on her.
Yeah, she does that so she knows if Susie Toot is on her coattails.
Yeah. Chance would be a fun
thing.
It's
never gonna happen.
Jewel Sparkles made up for her less than impressive performance in the filming of Ross Matthews versus the Ducks and killed this runway. She was inspired by a designer, Hayden Williams, who sketch she showed us. She literally made the sketch of this outfit a reality and had all these paint strokes on it so it looked like a living drawing.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh, I love the tail bracelet. I loved all the details. She looked gorgeous. The big blonde wig with a black streak in it. It was stunning. Fingerdoo for Ms. Jules. Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah.
I bet Susie loved seeing another cat getting ready in the workroom. I'd be like,
I
oh,
don't
no.
think Susie even noticed until she had her ears on. I don't think Susie saw the
And
reference
she's
at
like, oh,
all.
what's that reference? Oh, one of your favorite, modern fashion illustrators.
Oh, I
your
don't
reference
do
isn't
modern.
100 years
Yeah.
old. Oh,
Yeah, if it ain't at least.
if there's not dust on that reference,
Yeah.
Susie Toot is not interested.
No. And then it was time to watch Ross Matthews versus the Ducks. This was fun.
It was fun.
The editing helped a lot of people.
Absolutely. It was nice to finally have a Maxi challenge where no one bombed.
Yeah.
Lana did a good job, but Anya
killed it. She stole the show, no matter
Just
whether
killed
she was on stage or not, and as God had intended.
Sam did a great job.
Yeah.
Lydia was better than RDR Live,
Yeah.
but still, I was like, oh, I want them. Oh, there was so much opportunity there.
Yeah. Ross was there.
Ross was,
Thank God Cheyenne Jackson popped his head in for a couple of moments.
Yeah. Cheyenne got to be the maitre d', which was lovely.
Super fun. Yeah. I think I enjoyed that a little more than the actual real show.
Well, I thought that Lexi and Susie's scene was going to be awful.
Oh, no, it was great.
And it was great. Like, I did find Susie, oddly, was a little like low energy. I was like, okay, this is kind of the same character that you kind of did in the roast. And it's a choice, and like, it's fine. But I kind of wanted just a little more ridiculousness from her.
Yeah.
And Lexi, I was really worried for.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got to that whole ASMR thing, I was like, oh, they got some great takes to work with in there.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they did a very nice job.
The only letdown for this whole thing, bless her heart, was Jules. Now, the editing helped her. She wasn't as bad in the finished product as watching it. But it was still not equal to a lot of other things that went on.
Yeah, it was a bit of a letdown. If they hadn't ended it all by everyone throwing their drinks in Ross's face, it would have been a much more disappointing ending.
Yeah.
Like, let me get in on that.
And then it was time for the judges' critiques. And because there was only 6 queens there, nobody went off stage. They all got a face full of it. And Lana was the first queen up.
Not surprised in the critiques. Yeah.
No, I think they liked her well enough. I mean, they did say she was outshone by Anya, but no one was surprised by that.
Nope.
So she didn't let anyone down.
Yeah. Sam Smith loved her makeup.
Yeah.
It's a nice little compliment to get.
Mm.
Anya got the praise that we figured she would get for the challenge, and also a lot of praise for her runway.
Yes.
This week. Yeah.
Yes. Well, she looked great.
She looked fantastic. Sam got good praise for her runway and the challenge.
Yeah, Sam Smith loved her. You could tell. Yeah. Couldn't take his eyes off her. Yeah.
That is how you do clown drag. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well
Susie too. Look what Sam
Okay, some
Sam
attention.
did.
Yeah.
And they do that next time. Lydia, no surprises there. They thought she did good and better than they thought she was going to do, which is always a backhanded compliment.
I love that the judges all said everyone did a good job.
Yeah.
Like, so it was clear that this was going to be a hard choice.
Yeah, this is going to be like a splitting hairs kind of thing.
And then we got to Susie, more specifically her wig. More specifically, Rue asking her, was that wig made for a black girl? And until Rue said that, I really hadn't thought that far along. I really thought that there was so much contour on the lace that it got darker. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought Susie had done, but she borrowed the wig from Anya, bless her heart. And how nice of Anya to sabotage her that way.
Very kind. It's not Anya's job to tell you how to hide your waist. Sam Smith's biggest critique of Susie's outfit, and I think you sort of echoed this. You didn't put it in the same words.
No.
He wanted there to be a touch more cut in the outfit.
Yeah, it wasn't very
which is odd
pretty
for someone dressed entirely as a pussy.
Yeah. Lexi was next, and again, a good critique, but
she did get called out for another train.
Yes.
Like, haven't we seen this before? Haven't we seen these trains
the bigger
before?
problem they had was her runway, yes. But still, I mean, if that's the problem you're having is her wearing too many trains, that's not the worst problem to have.
And I mean, her acting she was told, oh, you're very good at the fighting, which is not the same as being good at acting.
No.
There was I think there was a little tightrope walk with the judges, because they're like, oh God, anything we say to this queen, she's going to
fall apart.
She'll lose her mind. And you look great today. It's like, why do I look horrible every other day?
What's wrong with today? Thank God Jules had that gorgeous, gorgeous runway on. And thank God the judges didn't watch them filming, because it was clear that they thought she did a better job than anyone who watched her filming the monologue did. And I'm glad. I'm glad that the only problem they seemed to have with her monologue was it just was low key again.
Yeah, it needed more dynamic range. It needed some peaks and valleys, and that's the job of the director to get that out of you.
But I also feel that because of how Tiffany Pollard did that monologue originally, it's very subtle, it's very stated and controlled, isn't the way that needed to be read for this scene. And I'm sorry she didn't. I'm sorry she tried to stay too true to the original material.
Far too true. Yeah, she needed to throw like some Dixie Carter into that.
Some big,
like just
broad-shouldered gal energy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bless. She didn't.
She didn't. And then it was time for my second least favorite Drag Race moment. This is after the let's look at photos of our childhood selves and cry. So manipulative. This one is equally manipulative. Who do you think should go home and why?
Ugh. Well, everyone said Susie.
Everyone said Susie.
But they were trying to be nice about it because she's competition.
And she's competition.
So what they're saying is they're all bitter. Yeah. And they all think she's going to win, which gives Ru a good reason not to let her. Yeah. So the safe queens this week were Susie and Lexi, oddly enough, and good for both of them.
I did love that when Ru was delivering the news and doing it all. ASMR. Lexi did not catch on to the bit until the end. And this is why I love Lexi, because she's not hiding anything. No. And then she just started laughing at herself and verbalized that she didn't realize Ru was
she's doing the bit.
Oh, she's doing a bit. Oh, I didn't know that. It's so endearing. Yeah. Even when she's fumbling.
Yeah, she's just charmingly stupid. Yeah. The top two queens this week were, well, Anya and Sam. Who else was left, really, who did well? And you could see Sam thinking it was her. This was the week she was going to get 3.
Taste it.
Yeah.
So hungry for that pageant.
But no, it was just a sample. It wasn't an actual meal because it was Anya who became the first queen of season 17 to get 3 wins. Well done, Anya.
Well done on your nerve.
Yeah. Yeah. Who cares what your breath smells like when you're a winner?
Well, as she said at the top of the show, you can't smell my breath through the TV.
No, you cannot.
And you are so lucky you can't smell what's happening right now.
But you know what you can smell through the TV? A winner! Just saying. Of course, landing in the bottom, who was left? Lydia B. Collins, Lana Jarret, and Jules Sparkles. And again, none of these queens really did a bad job. It just, they weren't as great as everyone else. I was actually surprised Lana was down because I thought she did a good job, but somebody had to be.
Yeah. Who would you put in her place?
Well, I would have made her safe. I would have, of the two in the bottom, I would have put Jules and Lydia against each other, not Lana.
I understand why Jules was safe, because I don't think you could send, if everyone's kind of doing like an equally okay job, you can't send that Runway home.
No.
That Runway is
of the 3 of them, she had the best Runway. Yeah. So yes, if Runway is considered, that's what saved her, for sure. So the Queen's lip syncing this week, Lydia B. Collins and Lana Jarret.
Ooh, and I was so excited for another Lydia lip sync.
I was immediately worried for Lana, because she's good, but she kind of sleepwalks through her lip sync. So I was just a little worried, and
because this was both their third lip sync, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so they were fairly even matched for being
and Lydia's lip syncs have been spectacular, and Lana's completely forgettable.
Yeah, so they got to lip sync to Sam Smith's "Unholy,"
which was a great song for them.
Yeah, great song. Yeah, and started off great.
It was great.
Started off fun.
Lydia not being able to move was actually working in her favor because it just gave her some interesting body shapes to work with.
And she always has that amazing eye contact. That intense eye contact.
Yes. And Lana was just doing what Lana does. Yeah. Not bad, not good. Just
I wasn't watching. I had no idea what she was doing.
No, I was totally enthralled with what Lydia was doing.
Lydia.
Until
record scratch. She pulls a pair of scissors out of her bosom.
First of all, that in of itself was a task. She had to reach and lift something. It wasn't just a boom, there they are.
It needs to be graceful. You still need to be able to do this within the confines of... You're still doing a lip sync.
Yeah.
So try and work it in. So she pulls a pair of scissors out and then tries to cut her dress, but immediately went to the middle of the
front.
And couldn't get in, and it was awkward, and then...
She had that split on the side in the front sphere. She could have just cut from there.
I would have laid down, done something sexy, and sliced it open down there.
Yeah.
But it was just awkward and uncomfortable.
And then when she did get it open, she couldn't get her feet out. She ended up on the floor pulling her shit.
Yeah.
This was just a recipe for disaster.
It was hard to watch.
I'd be interested to see how it would have all played out if she hadn't bothered and just left the skirt the way it was. Also, the skirt part was stretched. She could have pulled that all up.
Yeah.
She didn't need to cut
Choices.
it. Yeah.
Choices.
Gymnastics.
Yeah. Or she could have just taken those scissors and just stabbed Lana. Like, there's options. Yeah. There are lots of options. Yeah.
Why do we have to keep coming up with these things?
Honestly. Oh, these baby queens.
We should get paid for consulting fees.
We should. We really should. Murder your way to success. With the two willies. Ding.
So I don't think it was a surprise to anybody that the winner of the lip sync was Lana Gervais. She got to Shantae. And my heart broke. My heart broke. Now, I'm going to be honest and say I wasn't expecting Lydia to win, but she was on an upward trajectory.
I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more Lydia.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I do want to see more Lana.
I do want to see more Lana, too.
Yeah, but we've seen some personality. I was like, okay, let's see what else you've got. But I was just like, oh.
I think the right queen went home based on that lip sync.
Based on that, the only way Lana would have lost that lip sync is if she had just taken a gigantic dump on the stage. Just hitched up
put her wig on it.
Tiny little skirt. Yeah, just her wig had fallen off, and she just had a huge pile of poo on her head, and then she started flinging that at the judges. Not Sam Smith, because I'm pretty sure he's into that. But the rest of the judges, I'm pretty sure they're into that.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't want to misgender Sam Smith while I'm claiming that he's a shit freak. They're a shit freak. I did it again. I'm so sorry, Sam. I did not mean to misgender you.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, for
you
sure.
You seem to have a lot more respect for shit freaks than for Sam Smith.
I do, apparently.
I'm just saying. This is an awakening I wasn't prepared for.
Scatological awakening. It's only because it's Lydia's last moment, so this is our last chance to really have some poo talk.
The butthole is closed. Well, so there you have it. Another episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 done and dusted. Were you happy with the decision?
I understood the decision.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more Lydia, but the right person went home. Based on this week,
it's Lydia's fault she went home. If she tried harder in the acting challenge and hadn't bothered with that scissor thing with her skirt, or brought a box cutter so she could just slash it and not be fussy. But she didn't.
Nope.
And
could have been a moment. Wasn't a moment.
Yeah. I still say everyone that's there right now is killing it. They're all doing great jobs. But I feel like if Lexi doesn't get a handle on her nerves, she's going to sabotage herself out of the game. Also, Lana, as well as she's doing, she's still not up to the par with some of the other performances. So I'm worried about her as well, especially because we got Susie. Sam ain't letting anybody not
Sam is going to
push her out.
Yes, Sam is going to fight and claw her way
She's
into
top
the finale,
three if
no
it
matter what.
kills somebody, and it might.
She might have to kill someone. Pageant rules apply.
Yeah. Susie's going to be in the top 3 because Susie, but I also feel like she this challenge was the second time she underplayed what she was doing. And I'm worried that this overt confidence may cause her to come off as not as brilliant as she thinks she is. But how about you? Who do you think's up next? Who do you think's got to pull it together or get out of the way? Leave a message down below to let me know what you think. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Those are the 3 best ways to up my algorithm and get my video out there so more people can enjoy the magic that is us. Also, if you want to leave a tip or do but don't want to do it through YouTube, I've got a link to my PayPal account in the description box down below, along with a link to my Redbubble store where you can get all sorts of Wilma merchandise. And there's also a link to my Patreon page where the Fingerdoo family meets twice a month for live chats. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And until next week, miss us! At this point, I think Anya may have to kill a puppy on stage to not win. She's my front runner.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Just her runway's been great.
Yep.
Her performances have been excellent.
Yeah.
She's not rattling anybody's nerves. Like when she has something to say to somebody, she says it. When she doesn't, she's fine to sit there. Yeah.
Trim gate and spray paint gate are weeks ago.
Weeks ago. Yeah. Nobody's talking about that anymore. Well, just us. But what else do we have? We have nothing.
Yeah, because we don't want to talk about Ariane because she's dead.
Dead to us. Dead. Ari who?
Ari
Exactly.
Who?
Yeah.